Hi, this is Yvonne Galusha, and the purpose of this little video is to introduce you to ranges and how we can define them and differentiate between properties and methods. So first, remember that a range is a single cell, but it also can be a group of cells, just like all of the test scores. And we can, in our VBA code, read the value, we can write ranges, values, and we can do more than that. We can select, we can have formulas that are used in Excel to determine values. We can do formatting. Oftentimes we use the built-in abilities in the ribbon here in Excel to change formatting. We can copy and paste and move those to other cell positions. So there's many things that we can do. I want to emphasize that a range does not have to be contiguous. Right here, do that again, that can be defined as a single range. Also, you could just have this on one worksheet and then on another worksheet have selected part as part of the same range, or even on another workbook. So let's go ahead and then get into the VBA code. So I've already started a little macro. I've inserted a module and added a temp macro to it. And let's first review what an object is. And for some of you, this may be even new information. An object is a workbook, a single worksheet, or a range. Those are just examples of some objects. An object has values associated with it, and it has methods. The difference is a value is just some sort of definition. So for example, the value of range B2 is 66. Let's look at a car situation. If you have a computer game that consists of cars racing, a car is the object, and a car value would be color of the car, red. Another car object in the race may have blue as the color of the car. Now, a method denotes action. So method would be the speed value that the car is going. And as you get into this, you will understand better that there's usually some code that's written to accomplish the action, where in the case of value, it's just assigning some value. That's just a little background about objects, the difference between properties and methods. So again, this should be review. We talked about this in a prior video, but we said that range values can be read. So if we were going to do that, we would have something simple like designating, dimensioning a local variable, in this case as an integer. And then we would do an assignment statement where we get the value from the range B2, and we get the value, so this is a property, and we assign it, meaning read from the spreadsheet cell B2 and assign it into the local variable number. Now, we've done this before, so I'm not going to demonstrate that. So we can read from a range. We can also write to a range. To accomplish that, it is simply, make that capital, that should be a capital. We move this part to the left-hand side of the assignment statement. And now we put a new value in. See, we're assigning a new value with this assignment operator. So if we run this, now we'll see a change. And there you saw it occur. In essence, we were able to write to a range. So those are just very basics. Reading from a range, writing to a range. Now select, on the other hand, is a method. It's not a property, it's a method. So if we want to select, we can do that by invoking the select method. So we can do range, and let's do B2 to B10. And now the dot means that these are members of the range object, that type of object, where that's what IntelliSense is displaying. You can start to type them and it'll narrow the list. So if I run this now, what we're going to see is that particular range selected. And you can see that denoted action that occurred to accomplish that selection. Now there are many different ways to do this. You can have contiguous cells, not just vertical. You can move horizontal by changing this. You see we've selected this whole thing. And there are other ways to do this. You could do notation that designates a range of ranges. Now that may sound like overkill to do the same thing, but you will find later when we write code that different notations like this can be handy. So in essence, we say a range of ranges like this, and then we need another parenthesis to close that parenthesis. And we're basically doing what's called nesting here. We've got three different ranges defined, but we're saying we want to make a selection of a new range by joining these two ranges. So if we run that, we're going to see the same group of cells selected. I'm just showing you the different types of notation. Now you have to be careful. If we change this and think we're going to get non-contiguous cells, people who aren't very familiar with VBA might do something like this, and they're trying to select scores 1 and score 4. So they may do something like this, and then think, I'm going to just set those two like this. And logically, that looks like that might just select this column and this column, right? That's what it looks like we want to do. But when we run it, that doesn't work. Well, we got a compile error because I've got an extra parenthesis. We can get rid of that so we don't have a compile error. But the point is it stayed, this whole area stayed selected. So how do we select non-contiguous cells? I'm going to grab this code just for the sake of saving some time and sitting here typing. So I want to kind of review some more principles here. So notice what I did. Come back here. I've declared dimension reserved a place in memory for a new type of variable. This is an object variable. It's of type range. Now you're going to see where we define an assignment value to that range. And the reason I've done this I did this way so that you could see this idea of a full reference to an object. We're saying with this workbook, meaning the workbook that we currently are working, that is open and this VBA code is associated with. And a member of this workbook, remember I told you this little dot represents member of. We want sheets. That is another type of object, and we want it saying sheet 1 because that's where this code is. It's on sheet 1. Then we want a range on that sheet, and here we're saying B2 to B10, and then I have D, but let me go ahead and change it to E so I'm consistent. We were trying to get score 1 and score 4 a minute ago. And now I'm using this notation to say this range. And we're setting the object variable range to that. And then notice select is a member of the range object, so I'm saying select. Now let's run this macro and you'll see that we're going to accomplish selecting of non-contiguous ranges. There we go. So I hope this has helped you with this first little introductory video to working with ranges and understanding a little better the difference between a property and a method. Thank you.